In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the most genius and creative LEGO building techniques that might be illegal, but don't tell the cops that. And then we're going to be taking all of these techniques and combining them into a mock. The first technique is combining 1x1 cylinders and 1x2 bricks to create a curve. If you alternate these bricks in this pattern and then bend it a little bit, you will get this curve, which is extremely useful, especially considering LEGO is mostly a square-based system. The following technique involves the LEGO flame piece, the old ones since they have pins. You see, these pins were originally designed for this dragon mouth, but it unintentionally led LEGO fans to discover that you can place the pins in between the smallest flame gap. At first, this doesn't look like much, but if you stack a bunch of them, you can create a tall, bendy flame. This can be great for mocks, and the bonus is that it's very satisfying. Next up is the plates in between studs. Although it's an illegal building technique, LEGO was probably the first to discover it. It's kind of ironic how they introduced it, and now it is highly discouraged because of the damages it can do. Next, placing bricks in between the fence grills. This can make for some cool lights like on this car, or a snot alternative like on this old submarine. This was a very smart part usage. And finally, the technique that blew me away was on this rally car from 1978. Take a look at this tire. How do you think it's connected to the roof? Maybe, like me, you thought it was some kind of specialized part. However, it's actually a Technic bushie placed in between the studs and then covered up by a tire. Next, the ratcheted joints. Most people know that these two types of joints can connect, but less people know that you can combine them with a clip to create a link with less resistance. This is a technique that some people think is illegal, but in reality it isn't, since LEGO uses it. However, the same cannot be said about the next technique. This one involves the small Technic treads and the 1x plates or tiles. The tubes at the bottom of the plates can fit through the holes of the treads. This means that you can repeat this technique a few times and then connect them all together to create a circular shape, which could be used for a barrel or a cannon. The technique is very fragile though, as the tubes don't always fully connect, which leads me to believe that it might be illegal. This ice cream has 4 scoops, but Jerry wants 16. How is that going to happen? Well, since the piece can be stacked, we can give him 16. It might just fall though. This technique can be especially useful if you want to represent smoke. Next, you can take the stem piece and place 3 flower studs on top. This is how it was intended to be used. But what if we tried something different by multiplying this a few times and then placing the bottom of each stem onto a flower, and then repeat this a few times until we have some sort of flower bush. This can make for an intricate build since there are so many flowers at different angles. The next technique is more of a way to save LEGO bricks. So I think we all know that this is a LEGO brick and that this is a Duplo brick. What do these have in common? Well, they're both building blocks made by LEGO, but other than that, there isn't much. Or is there? The bottom of a normal brick is just small enough to fit in between the studs of a Duplo brick, making them compatible. This might not seem very useful, but it does mean that you can save a ton of bricks while building the structure for a mock. They're great since they are stronger than normal bricks and are much larger. So instead of using tens of hundreds of LEGO bricks, you can use a few Duplo bricks to get the job done. You might have got rid of all your Duplo bricks like me, but the good thing is they're very cheap to buy secondhand. Most of the time, LEGO builds those Imperial light panels like this. Yeah, it's pretty lame. They use a sticker. So when I was 10 years old, there was this book that I found from the library that had a bunch of LEGO Star Wars build ideas, and one of them was this light panel. And I decided I was going to replicate it. I took a 1x6 plate and then placed a 1x1 gray plate and then filled the rest with white pieces. I pretty much just repeated this build a few times. Then I made one with a brick base and then stacked them while alternating the pattern. Then I built a little casing for it and then I placed it inside. The build is pretty secure in there, but if you want more stability, you can use snot bricks. When I was finished, I was so proud because I felt like I was a million bricks ahead of all the LEGO designers. And I think I'm gonna be even more ahead of the LEGO designers after I figured out how to light it up from the back with trans pieces. Now, I can put all of this knowledge, training, building to create an epic mock. So I decided that I was gonna create a section of the lower levels of Coruscant from Star Wars. It's basically a rundown dystopian city. I first inserted this working vending machine. I got the design from the LEGO Ninjago City dock set. It works by opening the top, loading in 3 cans, and then inserting some cash. If you insert it too many times, you might break the machine. Then I placed the Imperial light panel on this building. I also used this clever and very legal technique to put 1x1 tiles into a transparent brick. I placed a large transparent brick in front of some colorful bricks, that way the colors pop out. I used the tread technique here, which was very tedious to build. I also used a few Duplo bricks to fill in the center of this building to give it more structure. The Technic bushie piece here, the curved wall here, the fence technique right here, illegal plates in between studs here. Yep, I'm hiding it. I can't let the cops know. The ratcheted joint technique here. and the flowers randomly here since I couldn't find a real spot for it. The stacked ice cream worked perfectly for smoke. I placed the flame curve here as a flamethrower, and then I put all the minifigures. The conflict is a battle between some Mandos and some clone troopers. But how did we get here? To understand this, we have to go a few minutes back when Mace Windu was casually purchasing his favorite Grimace shake from the vending machine, when Jerry swooped in and stole it. He also stole the Sergeant's ice cream, which seems foolish, however he was a couple studs ahead. He had hired a bunch of Mandalorian mercenaries to protect him while he escapes with the ice cream. Subscribe or else Jerry will come and rob your ice cream.